Home nothing. I'd like to try this thing just once. Come on, honey.
We'll show him a thing or three.
No one will agree completely with my ranking. All opinions are valid. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It would be great if, in the comments, you post your ranking 1 to 10, 1 being the best, and I will compile the viewers' choices. The criteria is based on the overall movie. You can find supporting videos of different levels of detail in the complete Fred and Ginger playlist. A link is at the end of this video. 6 months after Roberta, Fred and Ginger, with the release of Top Hat, reached a level of success rarely achieved. A masterpiece that at the time was critically acclaimed and a huge financial success, and in retrospect still regarded as one of the greatest musicals ever. The movie was the number 2 revenue in 1935, because that year also had the great Mutiny on the Bounty, starring the King, Clark Gable, at the height of his career. Top Hat was nominated for Best Picture, and Fred's Cheek to Cheek was nominated Best Song. 2 dances were nominated for Best Dance Direction, The Piccolino and Top Hat, White Tie, and Tails. And while they are great dances, I rate the gorgeous Cheek to Cheek the second greatest and the most beautiful dance scene ever. More importantly, the public loved this movie. Second highest gross revenue movie of the year, the most successful RKO movie of the entire era. Fred and Ginger were never more popular, with their previous movie, Roberta, also the 10th highest revenue movie of the year. The top moneymaker poll, started in 1912, was the opinion of the movie theater managers, where the industry dealt directly with the public. Fred and Ginger reached 4th place. Oscar-nominated Cheek to Cheek was also a hit on the radio, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Top 100. All 5 songs made the top 10. It is AFI, the American Film Institute's 15th best musical ever. I believe it should be higher. Cheek to Cheek is AFI's 15th greatest song ever. 4 of the 5 dance scenes are among the drive-in top 100 movie dances. Ginger wrote they were told that during the opening at Radio City Music Hall, the audience applauded each of the numbers. That's something. When sound first arrived, musicals dominated the top revenue charts. One of the most statistically successful musicals ever is 1929's The Broadway Melody. In 1929, musicals took the top 9 spots. Then it dropped off because of the technical difficulties and poor quality of what is referred to as the primitive era, and rose again in 1933 when the technology improved. While not the leads, Fred's Dancing Lady and Ginger's Gold Diggers of 1933 and 42nd Street were part of the 1933 rebound. After 1933, only 18 musicals ranked number 1 or 2 in revenue for the year. Only 12 top 2 revenue musicals were also nominated for Oscar Best Picture. I truly believe if it was not for these 2, not for this great movie, this exclusive list of 5 musicals that won Oscar Best Picture and were the top revenue movies for the year would be 6, and Fred and Ginger would have their rightful statistical place atop movie musical history. You just don't get to pick your competition for the year. Top Hat was produced by Pandro S. Berman, directed by Mark Sandrich, songs by Irving Berlin, co-starring Edward Everett Horton, the great Helen Broderick, Eric Rhodes, and Eric Blore. Fred is in England to put on a show produced by Horton. Fred sings the charming "No Strings, I'm Fancy Free," bragging about his bachelor life. Then he breaks out into a dance to the song, Stomping Away, and wakes up an angry Ginger in the hotel room below. She confronts Fred, and there goes his fancy-free days as he is struck by her beauty. In a very sweet scene, Fred plays Sandman, dancing to put Ginger back to sleep. When showering Ginger with flowers doesn't work, Fred changes places with the livery driver to take Ginger to her horseback riding, and she is furious, but also a little charmed. Ginger is trapped by a thunderstorm, and Fred takes advantage. He sings the sweet, "Isn't this a lovely day to be caught in the rain," to Ginger, and then they do one of their funnest dances to the song. It worked. Ginger is a model for fashion designer Rhodes and ecstatically tells him how thrilled she is with Fred. Now, like in The Gay Divorcee, a mistaken identity plot twist becomes the basis for all the comedic situations the rest of the movie. Ginger is led to believe Fred is her friend Broderick's husband and is furious. There is no way all the comedic twists and turns can be explained in a summary, where every single character is caught up in the confusion. Watch the movie or follow the playlist. It's great. As part of his show, Fred sings the great Top Hat, White Tie and Tails, and then does one of his most memorable solo dances to it. They all head down to Venice and to the most amazing Art Deco GWS, Great White Set, ever, taking up 2 studios. The insane, yet so very clever, script continues on. Poor Horton suffers the brunt of the misunderstandings, including his life being threatened twice by Rhodes, in defense of Ginger's honor, and Broderick gives him a black eye. Ginger and Broderick scheme against Fred, but he turns the tables on Ginger, and she is more upset than ever. Finally, with Horton in hiding from Rhodes, Fred, Ginger, and Broderick meet. Broderick is playing matchmaker. Fred loves it, but it is so bizarre to Ginger. The highlight of the movie is a very beautiful song and the most beautiful dance in movie history, to Irving Berlin's Cheek to Cheek, and one famous, or infamous, unusual ostrich feather dress. Fred sings to Ginger in his very charming way, and she stares at him intently, letting all know Fred is mesmerizing. Then they dance, and the audience is mesmerized by this beautiful, dramatic, flowing scene. Ginger is overwhelmed with emotions after the dance, and actually considers being Fred's mistress, until he asks her to marry him. After declaring she loves him, she slaps Fred in a fury and storms off. Poor Fred does not have a clue. Torn between her passion and her morality, Ginger agrees to marry Rhodes to escape the hold Fred has on her heart. Back to the zany plot. Fred, Horton, and Broderick finally resolve the confusion, and Fred gets Ginger alone to explain it to her. More zany plot. This threesome is adrift in the Adriatic Sea. Never mind trying to explain. Fred and Ginger take advantage of the time to enjoy dinner and dancing, leading up to the last of the large ensemble Busby Berkeley-style dance numbers in their movies, the Piccolino. Ginger is adorable singing the song. Then the two do a lively dance to it, also nominated for Oscar Best Dance Direction. Fred and Ginger confront Ginger's husband, Rhodes, but with another plot twist, it ends up they were never really married, and Fred and Ginger live happily ever after, doing a final quick dance. Please like and subscribe.